Yo, what is going on, guys? Jared here again, and today I was going through YouTube and I saw one C-Mode made a video today, or a couple days ago, I should say, on the I think it was the Frozen Card Gaming Tournament that was held online. I believe it was last week, and in that tournament we had a top 16 Burning Abyss deck list from Ryan Yu. Again, ironically, I'm not just picking Ryan's decks because I like Ryan Yu. I'm picking these decks because they happen to be the most interesting that I think that I would enjoy to play, and that I think you guys would enjoy to see in action. So, as you can see, Simo covered this before, and if you want to go check out the rest of the metagame analysis, feel free to go to Simo's channel and look at it. But for me, myself, I have the exact copy of the deck right here, and I have three replays for you guys to see, and I think that there's some interesting takes on this. But either way, I think that the deck's super cool. It's something different, definitely. It's nice seeing my favorite deck being piloted again in the format, but there is definitely some things that I want to point out while I'm going through the matches themselves. But for the deck list itself, he plays the one Absolute King Blackjack. When I first saw this, I didn't think it made sense to me, but after putting the deck and actually using it, it makes a lot more sense now. Because usually the old builds would play like a three of. It's more like a three over zero card, but now after seeing it, I actually I understand this at one. He plays one Alec, three Ash Blossom, one Barbar, one Calcab, one Seer, three Veiler, three Farfa, three Fiendish Rhino Warrior, two Ghost Ogre, one Graph, one Libic, one Rubik. Rubik is very important now because it being a tuner is super relevant to go in the needle fiber when you need to. Three Scarm, two Tour Guide for the monsters, and then for the only spell he played was one Foolish Burial. And then for the traps, he played three Fiend Griefing, three Infinite Impermanence, two Karma Cut, three Paleozoic Dynamiscus, and two Trap Trick for a 41 card total, which I was actually surprised he was playing 41, but this is what he chose to play. For the extra deck, he played one Pilgrim, one Beatrice, two Dante, one Levianeer, and then for the links, he played one Access Code, one Cherubini, one Needle Fiber, or Halki Fiber X, one Gravity Controller, one IP, one Cerberus, one Phoenix, and one Unicorn, so he played three Nightmares, one Big Karibo, and one Trisbania. And then for the side deck, he sided three Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, which I actually want to have a discussion about this card as well. Three Cosmic Cyclone, three Lightning Storm, three Evenleys, and three Judgment. I'm just gonna go to the replays, and then as the certain cards come up, or if they don't come up, I will talk to them at the end of the video when we go back and look at the list over again. So the first replay that we have here is versus a pure Shaddoll deck. Now, for anybody who's played it back in 2015 times, we will remember that Shaddoll was not a fun time for Burning Abyss. But so here we go. So this Shaddoll player decided to play something interesting, in my opinion, which was this Predaplant. The Predaplant allows you to fuse from your hand, as well as with the Predaplant on the field. And if your opponent has a Predaplant counter on something, you can fuse with that monster as well. So it's very nice to be able to use like a monster for like an extra fusion. So I thought it was something that was very different and neat. So we chose this to go. What do we have? A normal Rhino Warrior, special Rubik, and then we chose to go straight in the Beatrice because I didn't want to go into the fifth summon for Nibiru. That's always very scary. I also was trying to not overextend. I believe this is the first match I played with the deck, and I was trying to still feel it out because it's very different from how it used to be. I just ended on the Beatrice by itself, and with Ghost Ogre in hand, so we had the two interruptions. I was trying to think of ways where this deck can do like any major setups, and it just really never came up to me. I know you can end on like some IP Dante boards, which I do later, but some of the hands just feel a little awkward still. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like I said, this is still like one of my first games playing this, but we'll fast forward it. So he goes right for El Shaddoll into App Cologne and with Beast and Aerial. He goes App Cologne, target this, uses Aerial to banish and Beast to draw. So I go Farfa to banish the App Cologne because I don't want him to link it off to get a search. I use the Rhino that I detached to send the Blackjack, and that is why I believe he only plays the one Blackjack, because he doesn't want to draw it. He only wants to mill it off of the Rhino Warrior, where Rhino Warrior wouldn't be getting any other value anyway. And that situation comes up a lot, where you already have your engine going and you don't need Rhino Warrior to send some random Burning Abyss. So the Absolute King Blackjack makes more sense. So yeah. So we stack our deck. He summons the Predaplant to go into Winda to continue trying to play. So yep. After that, he gets his Apcolon back. He sets Falco, and he passes back. And then we use Blackjack to get back Dynamiscus. And then he instantly concedes because he knows that we have Tour Guide and we have Dynamiscus to clear out the window. So we have outs for every part of the board, and we were just going to probably OTK him that turn. So now we can go on to game 2. So he starts off with Shadow Fusion. I drop Ash Blossom because it's a hard once per turn, and if he doesn't have another way to go into a fusion, I wanted to get this out of the way without having to deal with it. But as you can see, he has the Protoplant, so he goes right into Winda, and then sets the Squamata for destruction. So I go Rhino Warrior to attack the Squamata so that I can. So if he destroys it, I still get value out of the Rhino Warrior. He doesn't use the effect, and then I just set 2 and pass because I don't have out to Winda yet. So he attacks over the Rhino Warrior. I send Blackjack, and we stack our deck again. And then he tributes over the Winda for Beast, and then Shadow Games for Beast. He sets Falco. He uses Dragon to pop my Karma Cut, so I decided to chain it, pitching the Skarm. And then Skarm gets us Tour Guide for this turn. We summon the Tour Guide. He goes Necrofusion for Winda. So we summon the Seer, and then we use Karma Cut on the Winda, and he chains Dynamiscus on our Seer, which always hurts. This is one of the problems with Seer being at 1 with cards like Called by the Grave, Dynamiscus, and Aerial, things like that. We only have 1 Seer to try to work around with our grind game, so when our Seer gets interrupted, it causes major problems. So yeah, he draws the Nefshadal Fusion, which was ironically the perfect draw because it makes the Falco a white and is a fusion spell. So if he drew like El Shadal or something, he couldn't go into Construct, but because it was specifically Nefshadal Fusion, he can now go into Construct. So he goes, as I said, in the Construct, summons our Falco. So Wendy summoned Falco, and then he sent Beast to draw a card, and he drew Sinister Shadow Games. So we go summon Tour Guide, summon Calcad, link into Cherubini so we can get rid of the back row. I didn't know what it was. So I was fearing like after the Tour Guide resolving, and it wasn't El Shadal, I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to be. Whether it be some kind of like random trap card, like an extra Dynamiscus or Necrofusion or something like that, or an Sinister. I wanted to bait it out regardless. So he aerials me, I Cherubini, Graph, and then summon this Levianer, come back Seer, so we can keep playing because it's very important. Like, I understand why the 1 Levianer is in the deck list now. We, in case, like I said, Call by the Grave or Aerial or something else that, or Hadokedo, banish the Seer, we need a way to get back the Seer to keep recycling and reusing. So we just beat over. We have to stack over Beast. We link into IP, and then we pass here. I like this this ending. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty good. But he goes Gravity Controller into using Contract for Gravity Controller to get back Shadal Fusion. So then he can Shadal Fusion from deck. He sends Aerial and Falco. And goes Abcalone. I chain the IP on the Abcalone so I can use Unicorn the Spin. But so this is one of my, I guess, problems with the BA deck is like if you get like interrupted at certain key points of when you're trying to be resourceful, you can run out of steam very easily, like very very easily, and it's a serious problem where if these things happen because you can't keep playing, you just run out. So like a lot of the scenarios, you end up being like either you raise your ceiling by going for like an IP type of play for more interruptions, or you go for more resourceful play where sometimes you just have to end on like a Dante and try to get the Dante recycle rather than go for like a power play. And I think that really depends on the matchup. Like some decks aren't as explosive as others, so you don't need to set up all these types of interruptions. So we lose that game. So now we go to game 3, and we are going first. So we go Rubik for and Seer. So we link off Seer, back Rubik, Cherubini send Graph to summon whatever it was, Skarm, I believe, and then overlay for Dante, and then yeah. So we end on it's a pretty good hand, I would say. We have Judgment, Valor, and Ash Blossom. So it's nice that I'm not scared of Shadal Fusion at all because we have both Ash Blossom and Judgment. But as you can see, he doesn't have it. And keep in mind, by the way, I'm showing you the hand now, but I don't know what he has, so I have to always assume for the worst. Um, I feel like a lot of people don't say that during these replay type videos. So a lot of times you're trying to make reads to understand and make sure that you are setting yourself up for a worse position. Um, yeah, so he goes set Ariel for Super Poly to go into Construct. So I Veiler the Construct because I don't want him to keep going. Because if my logic was, if the best thing should all monster he could summon was Ariel, I wasn't that scared then that I could keep playing and be fine. So he attacks over the Cherubini, he sets 3. He goes Sinister Shadow Games. I Ass Blossom it because there's a reason I Ass Blossom here is because when you see a Shadal deck that doesn't have a lot of monsters going for it and goes 3 back row, you know that they're very limited on what they have, and you have to really consider like what their options could be. So I know that if I Ash Blossom this, there's a good chance I have to call El Shadal Fusion being there, like 100%. But the Necrofusion, I didn't, I'm not going to read a Necrofusion. That's not very standard for Shadal list, you could say. But I figured that this was here, so I didn't want him to be able to go like Sinister Shadow Games, send like Hedgehog or Wendy to get another monster to be able to win to me on my turn. So we Ash Blossom the Sinister Shadow Games. So we go Tour Guide, and like I said, we keep going. Farfa banish the Construct, then we make Beatrice. I didn't want to use the Seer because it wouldn't get any value here. So because Dante's under the Beatrice. So at the end phase, he gets that back, and we add in our Tour Guide. He tries Necrofusioning, but remembering that he can't use it on the field. We backjack, put stuff back. He attacks in the Beatrice, we send, and then we get Dante out, and then we get Karma Cut. So in end phase, this is all in end phase, we use Pilgrim to pitch Seer, draw a card, get back Dante. That's why I love Pilgrim. This card's so versatile. And then my opponent just concedes because he knows we have the Karma Cut to deal with the Construct, and he drew a Dragon, which isn't that good. I mean, maybe he could have like done some extra stuff, but he accidentally revealed a Necrofusion before, so we know that this isn't a threat because he doesn't have anything in the grave yet. And then we also we don't know if this is El Shadal, but we had the Solemn Judgment just in case it was anything relevant. And then he knows we have Tour Guide too, and we can keep going. So yeah, so we took that game 2-1. It wasn't bad. But after I finished this game, I'm like, wow, this deck feels like it felt really strong. Like it didn't feel like it had the highest ceiling, but the outplay potential for the deck could be like very high. This deck's really got chain blocking when you need to clear something. Like say your opponent is Warlord Savage, it's very good if you can like hit a mill off Dante, and then you can chain around with like a Farfa or like a Backjack that you mill off, or like a Graph or a random one like Libic or Barbar. Like if you can put the Farfa as chain link 1 and then whatever else on chain link 2 or 3, you can play around the Savage being able to negate anything relevant. So on to the next match. This match is against Heroes. When I first thought that Heroes were playing, I thought I was like screwed because Dark Law is like a super big threat. But we go first. We didn't open up any of our like main combo potential, so we opened up the Rhino. So we want to be able to do what we can. Again, I was still trying to figure out like how to go first with this deck. Because it's very awkward if you get like hand trapped on say like a normal summon Tour Guide. Like it's very awkward to keep going, and sometimes it feels like fragile, I guess would be the word to describe it. Because let's say I summon Rhino Warrior and he Veilers it, like, I just have to pass. There's nothing else I can do. Or same thing with Tour Guide, if it gets interrupted, I just have to pass. So yeah, we try to go for like the least likely one of him hand trapping, which is the Rhino. So I go Dante into Beatrice, and I didn't mill because like I'm not gonna take the risk of what's it called? Oh, I guess I could have milled. I probably should have milled 1. Whoops. But yeah, I should have milled 1. But it's fine though. So he calls. He can't get Forest. We fix that. He gets Stratos. He summons the Solid Soldier. So I remember this is like someone like I guess not a lot of like BA players do this stuff. So he called for Stratos. So I know he has Stratos in hand. And then he goes Solid Soldier, activate effect. So as Chailing 2, I activate Beatrice, I detach Graph, and I send Alec. So now that chain resolves. So Solid Soldier summons Stratos. And then on a new chain link on the summon, Stratos will be chain link 1. and then my Graph and Alec will be channeling 2 and 3, and Alec can negate the Stratos. So Alec will negate Stratos and then banish the Solid Soldier so that he can't fuse with the Solid Soldier. My logic was that he can't fuse with the Solid Soldier to use the effect to special summon back a hero from the grave. So it should have been able to shut him down from that point. So yeah, we go start Foolish Burial, summon Rhino, and we do pretty standard plays. But we want to keep Seer under the Dante. We just mill the one, we hit Jack, we restack, and then yeah, we search Tour Guide and we Karma Cut still. This is really good. The reason this is good is because you might think, like, oh, you don't want to discard any of these cards with the Karma Cut that we have, but because we have Dante under the Beatrice, we can detach the Dante to get back the Scarm, and then send Farfa with Beatrice as an interruption, and then we get back the Scarm off the Dante, and then we can pitch that Scarm with Karma Cut as the second interruption, so we don't have to waste our Veil or Tour Guide. So this is pretty much a 3 interruption board, which is pretty good. So yeah, he gets Dark Calling, and then he starts doing some hero stuff. This is like pretty normal. Crusader at Honest Neos, this is all fine. Dark Calling, on the summon we go Farfa, and like I said, we get back the Scarm. He goes Wonder Driver to beat over. I say it's fine. Like, people like doing this, I guess. I mean, maybe decks now are having a harder time to deal with Beatrice, and we get to summon Pilgrim like a lot more, I guess. That's what it seems like, because these, like, a lot of these decks aren't, maybe like Dweller is not as, maybe it's just the decks I played, but Dweller has not been summoned on me a lot. Same with Unicorn, like, maybe, I don't know, like, but my Beatrice has been resolving like a lot to summon Pilgrim. So during the end phase, we get Pilgrim, we do Scarm, end phase, Pilgrim, Scarm, draw a card, and then we draw for turn. We go Tour Guide, activate effect, resolves, we get Rubik, and then we link the Rubik and the Dante for Needle Fiber, or Hockey Fiber Axe. That summons Ogre. There's a reason why I summon the Ogre. We use Pilgrim to draw, and then we get back Dante again. We link Hockey Fiber Axe, Tour Guide, and Dante into Access Code. So Access Code has two on it, so it's 43. We use Access Code to pop Wonder Driver. We can't pop this. When this is destroyed, it summons a hero from the hand, which is fine. So we put Increase. We Karma Cut away the Bane. I didn't know this. I just learned this game. I didn't know Bane can be destroyed by battle card effects. That really surprised me. I was like, holy crap, that's like really good. Also, I was wondering, how does like the, what's it called, the Elwich Synchro deck deal with this? This is like pretty hard to beat. I was very surprised. I was like, wow, Bane's like really good. But that's just beside the point. So yeah, he misread Karma Cut. He thought it banished like anything with hero in the name, but I'm like, no, it's just literally the full name. It's not just any hero. So he puts everything back, or I put everything back. So yeah. So we attack the forest. He just wasn't paying attention. And then we attack for 43. And if he's 2, we set Judgment and pass. We use Scarm to get Alec to hand for another form of interruption with Dante. Like I said, the game 1 where we could pitch. We can do the same thing with Pilgrim as we did with Beatrice, where we pitch the Alec instead. Yeah, so we just do backtrack now because we don't know top of the deck, and there's no other backtracks to try to organize it in the manner. So we just have to kind of whiff it, and we whiff it hard with hitting the Tour Guide. So we go to main phase. He summons Vion, and I know Vion can get like a lot of different interactions, because it can get a poly or send a hero. So we just decided Judgment to summon, and he emits defeat. And it was nice because he had the increase, which he could have put this one in the grave, into the Spell and Trap Zone, but he chose not to because he had this one. But if he tried using increase, we had the Ogre there to stop it too. So we were like super in a good, like, advantageous position to keep playing. So this was super good. The deck felt super strong here. Like, everything just felt like it was going right, where we have like the Seer Dante loop going, and we can still stop our opponent. But so this match is against Synchro Elwich, the deck that is the bane of my existence. So the problem with Synchro Elwich is that the Elwich cards are so much free advantage for a deck that hasn't been hit on the ban list. Unlike the Burning Abyss deck, which has been hit the ban list a multiple of times, like been hit on the ban list a lot. So, for people who know Dueling Book, we all know Flaming Ice is one of the highest rated players in Dueling Book, if I remember correctly. So it was very nice to play somebody who actually knew what they were doing. And there was one misplay in this game that I wanted to go over, but that's beside the point right now. So for his turn, he goes Apprentice Illusion, pitch Hadakedo, and then normal summon Ghost Ogre to go in the Needle Fiber. We ogre the Needle Fiber so that he can't do the full combo. And then he links into Link Karibo, sets Sanguine, and he has Golden Land Forever off of the Hadakedo. So he summons out a Golden Ward, which is pretty normal. So we go Rhino and Rubik. He Veilers the Rhino. And this is what I was talking about, where it can just like end a play. This just completely, like, if I did have more BAs in hand, I couldn't even like use them. They would have been completely dead. But it's fine. So we go main phase 2, set 2 pass. So he draws Imperm. I was thinking if I wanted to stop this, I just want to go through because I wanted to get my engine going. So we just go Scar him. And then there in the end phase, he gets his Conquistador. So we go Scar him to add Tour Guide. So we go Tour Guide, activate effect. He goes Imperm that he just drew. And there's nothing we can do. He Conquistadors. I chain Dynamiscus on the Golden Ward. And he chains Golden Land on the Dynamiscus. We use Trap Trick in draw phase or in standby, so we can get Fiend Griefing. This prevents him if he drew a what's it called? If he drew a spell or trap to bring back the Golden Ward, which was one of my more fears. He top decks Jet Synchron, so he goes into Christian Hockey Fibrax. We Veiler it. He attacks over the Tour Guide, which is fine. And then he goes end phase, summon Sanguine. And then we Fiend Griefing, put back the Golden Ward. We send Scarm, and we get Tour Guide, I believe. Yeah. So at this point, we know everything that he has. And this is where I get like, I wish that this deck could do more off one Tour Guide. I mean, I could be wrong. If you think that there was more I could have done in this specific situation, let me know in the comments because I want to learn this deck better. Obviously, if Ryan was able to top 16 with this deck has to be able to do something maybe more than what I'm doing with it. But you have to keep in mind the only thing that I have live in my hand is the Tour Guide because we drew a Dead Phoenix Rhino Warrior. So we go Tour Guide. I think we summon Graph finally. Yep. He goes Crystron into Formula to draw a card, which is fine. He draws Elwich Golden Ward. I was trying to figure out what the best line was. So my logic here was that I wanted to try to make I can't OTK, and that I wanted to be able to make at least some kind of form of interruption on his turn because he still has Jet Synchrons and stuff to play with next turn. So we mill one. We use Graph to get Dante. He Sanguines for Golden Ward, and then we tech over the Formula. Let's get out of the way. And main phase 2, we link into IP. Seer and Dante will activate, both respectively. Seer will get back the Scarm, and then we go into Beatrice. And then we go into Farfa off of the Scarm. Now, at this point, I was trying to think of, because obviously I don't want to have to use the IP to link with the Beatrice, because Pilgrim is, like, so strong. But we'll see what happens. And in my head, I was trying to remember if the standard of the Synchro Eldritch deck is to play triple Christian Hockey Fibrax or not. So it kind of turns into more or less me banking on that, but you see what I mean. So I go Beatrice, send Libic. Libic will add back Seer, or Dante will add back Seer. Libic will then summon the Seer, and it's negated so that it doesn't get destroyed itself. And then we go into Unicorn. We use Unicorn to pitch Backjack, and then we use Seer to get back, and then we use Backjack to set some stuff. He uses Sanguine to set Hadakedo, summons Magician Souls. I use Backjack, I believe. And this is where one of my misplays was. He uses Souls. I chain Imperm but I completely forgot about the Winkaribo engrave, so he was able to dodge the Imperm. That was a misplay on my part, and I think I probably could have won this game if that went through, but you'll see what I mean. So now he's able to go into Jet by pitching the Ward, and then because of that, he's able to go into the third Christian Hockey Fiber X. So if I saved the Imperm for the Crystron, I think I would have been fine, because then he would only be able to go Harikero for Eldixir again. And then I think we could have found a way to go for lethal because we have Rhino and Farfoot in hand and try to push for like an OTK. But I'm just going to let him do his combo because I've seen this combo a cajillion times and I'm sure you guys are bored of it too. So we're just going to let that fast forward because he ends on the standard Herald and Savage Dragon. And then he brings back Golden Ward by sending away the Auroradon that was equipped to the Savage, and it keeps the counters so that it still can negate. Then he sets Eldixir and passes. So we have Beatrice, but we can't like that. This is like another like problem where I couldn't think of ways where I could like efficiently out what he had. Where I'm like, damn, like I can like do stuff, but I can't do like enough at the end of the day. Like I wanted to crash Beatrice in to like summon Pilgrim, but then there's like Savage and Herald, so we can't do anything. So we just go beat over the Heralds. We can, and Golden Ward's 35 anyway. So we go Serb, pop that. We go Skarm at Farfa, but like now he's at a point where he can just go off again with the Jet. Goes into BLS Swing. He can BLS Swing, attack over the Cerberus, banish the Beatrice, and then it's over. I can't do anything else. So we decided for going second. We opted to go second. He goes Tuning. And then goes for the normal Jet pitch, and then I Reaper the Hockey Fiber Axe. And then he still gets the Sanguine from Conquistador. So I go Rhino, summon Skarm, and then I just attack over both. I overlay for Dante, and then because we activated Skarm this turn, I chose not to use any of the effects. Also, specifically in this match, I sided out a lot of the trap cards because I was going second for going second cards, so there wasn't much reason to go for the Absolute King. So yeah. So he goes activates Sanguine, which is fine. Goes for Jet. So I was scared of the BLS link here again because it's very tough for this deck to out. So we go Farfa to banish the ward, and we send Skarm. We had Tour Guide in the end phase, and then we draw Veiler. So I'm like, okay, so we go Tour Guide effect, summon Graph, and so my logic was I wanted to be able to get through the Conquistador and the ward, and we had the Cosmic for the Conquistador, and I'm like, okay, this is like super good. So on the summon of Graph, he uses Cosmic on my Cosmic, and I'm like, huh, that was like on his part, that was like really smart. That was like a really, really smart play. He was reading Cosmic hard. So I tried to see if he would do anything if I used Beatrice, and then I just chain my Cosmic on his Conquistador, which I know is there. He summons the Conquistador and he uses it to destroy itself so that he doesn't lose that constant looping of the advantage. Yeah, then I use Beatrice to send Seer, and then Seer and Dante do their thing. At this point, I am also reading that he has this Nibiru in hand because this has been here since turn 1, and it's the only card that makes sense it being there. Like throughout the game, he could have ashed me, it could have been another Cosmic, it could have been a million things, but the only thing that makes sense was it being another Nibiru because nothing else makes like logical sense of what it was. So yeah, so we keep it under 4 summons. We just go straight to Unicorn to spin that away, and then we just go attack, and we still end on double interruption with Beatrice and Veiler in hand. He summons Sanguine off of the Conquistador during the end phase. That's all he did. He just passed after that because he drew Apprentice Illusion. During the end phase, we use Beatrice to send Calcab. Calcab bounced back the Sanguine. Now he has nothing. We get Tour Guide in the end phase again, and then we go Tour Guide for Barbar. We could overextend here, but then we lose to Nibiru. But then if you calculate on board, that was enough for lethal. So we don't have to keep going and risk for any reason. So this is game 3. I opt for him to go, or he chooses to go first. The only thing I changed in my side was I took out the Evenweeze and Lightning Storm just in case he made me go first. I took them out for like Dynamiscus and I think like more Imperms. just because they're more like generically better going first or second rather than just second. So he goes Outwind, I Ash it. He sets 2 and passes. There was no Needle Fiber play coming out of his turn 1, so we can't do much about that. So we just go for a standard Dante. He chooses to go Sanguine into Conquistador. And this is another problem with the deck that like a blaring problem. Oh, the reason I didn't add back Scarm off of Dante was because I wanted to activate the Scarm. I didn't want it in my hand. In case you're all wondering why I did that. During the end phase, he ashes my Scarm, and then he draws Jet. He uses Outwind. I pitch the Veiler to try to get rid of it. I don't want this card gets like so much advantage, and it's more advantage than a Burning Abyss deck can keep up with. So I was trying to stop this as much as I could. Then he goes Jet. We Reaper it, but he goes into Barricade Borg, and then those 2 into Auroradon, and then he's still able to do pretty much the standard Synchro combo. So we go Savage, get back token, summons, Elixir, summon Halacredo, use War to send away Halacredo, then uses Jet to pitch. And if you do the calculations, this is 4,050 because Eldritch Golden War is at 35, 500, and 4,000, and that's enough for a game. And we could not win that one, sadly. This is one of the matchups that I wanted to test more, but I think it was very like clear from like the way I was playing was that the Eldritch cards, even with just one, like from game 1 and 2, just having one looping is so hard for this deck to deal with because you can still just keep summoning Golden Ward, and that 25-28 is so hard to deal with. And then game 3, when he just opened up like 3 different Eldritch cards, it was just super hard for us. Like he opened up Outwind, Sanguine, and Conquistador, and we just couldn't deal with that many Eldritch cards. Like they're just, I feel like they're just so much advantageous against the Burning Abyss deck because of just how BA works and how hindered they already are. Like maybe if like Sanguine was at 1 or Outwind was at 1 or War was at 1, then this deck can maybe like the Burning Abyss deck itself could keep up with the Eldritch deck, but because it's just like it's full power versus a deck that's already hit, I think it really like sets us back a lot. So so like I said, let me go back to the list. We timed out. So yeah, here is the deck again, and like I said, this is a deck that Ryan got top 16 with at the Frozen Card Gaming Tournament, or the Frozen Card Cup, whatever it was called. Frozen Card Gaming Tournament, yeah. So yeah, this is the list. It was top 16. I definitely like it. It's not bad by any means, obviously. This is definitely a deck I think he just played because the meta is quite stale. Like if he was going to like a YCS or National or something, I would definitely not say he played this deck. This is definitely like a tier 2 deck. I don't see this being any other way, sadly. As much as I want it to be, because like I said, this is my favorite deck, and I want it to be so much more than what it is, but it's just not, sadly. But yeah, either way, I hope you guys did enjoy seeing this deck in action, of what it can do, of the different plays it can make. I really like the IP Dante setup with Beatrice sometimes because you can do a lot with that. It's very like you keep a lot of advantage for doing some cool stuff. The only thing that I wished against the Eldritch deck was that I was able to make Trisbania. I think that to beat that deck, you have to get them in a situation where you can surprise them with the Trisbania and stop them. But every time that I could have went into it, he had ward access to be able to just kill it. So it never really came up for me in that situation, but I wish it did. So yeah, I really like Trisbania. I just wish I could have used it better. Gravity Controller is really good in certain situations, definitely. The Reapers, I think, are very underestimated this format. I think this card's really good because it just turns the Synchro Eldritch deck into an Eldritch deck playing some bad cards for the most part, unless they can get some like cheesy plays if you don't fight back too much. That was what happened in game 3. Dynamiscus Karmika feel really, really good. Fiend Griefing is really, really strong right now. Like I said, the backjack being a one-of, like you don't want to draw it, but you want to be able to send it off to Fiendish Rhino Warrior. So like I said, it makes sense. Ogre was like okay, it didn't really do anything spectacular, and I think that's everything I wanted to highlight in this game. Calcab very good against the Eldritch deck because you can just bounce back these certain combo pieces that they need to do the interactions on your turn. And yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to highlight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment and like whether you want me to do more of these. I definitely want to try some other players' decks, anything else interesting. That is something different as opposed to any Halki Fiber X, freaking whatever it may be, into Celine Savage stuff. Like I want to do different things. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.